Introduction. A narrative is a summary of specific events experienced by patients during clinical trials, treatments. The objective of the narrative is to summarize all the relevant clinical information and related information like patient characteristics, therapy details, prior medical history, the clinical course of the events, laboratory evidence and any other information that supports or refuses a diagnosis of ADR. The information should be presented in a logical time sequence. Basic components of the narrative in chronology: report type, study type, source, reporter details, patient details, demography and height, weight, medical history, drug history, suspect products, dosing regimen, concomitant medications, adverse events, relevant lab diagnostic, treatment and therapeutic interventions for each A, action taken with suspect and co-suspect therapy for each A, outcome, severity, protocol procedure related, causality, case seriousness, others, PQC numbers, car investigation results, linked cases. Writing consideration. Narrative should be written in the third person and the past tense. Chronology of events should be maintained. Avoid rambling statements. Do not use the special character, $, asterisk, %, etc., or double spacing in the narrative, it leads to submission failure. Avoid using short forms, i.e., BP, adv, etc., and slang, and foul language, reckon, crap, junk, etc., in the narrative. Don't use words like today, or yesterday in the narrative, instead use, on the day of the report, or, on the previous day of the report. Standard abbreviations can be used if multiple occurrences in the narrative, however, spell out the first time. The date format should always be DDMMMYYYY. Do not include hospital, institution names. If the reported term cannot be clarified and is confusing, use sick to denote as reported. Other aspects of narrative writing. If you are a pharmacovigilance and operating an RSG database, use a split screen functionality in RSG to maintain consistency between narrative and data fields. Company product should be in the capital, paracetamol, other brand names keep the first letter in capital. Unspecified medications and class drugs like antihypertensive should only be mentioned in the narrative. All relevant information should be added in form of a medical story for the completeness of the information. Action taken should be added for all the events in case multiple events with different actions are taken. Generic name, company or non-company, should be in lowercase. Important points to consider for pregnancy cases. Include past pregnancy details if provided. The last menstrual date and expected delivery date would get auto-pulled in the narrative if added to the pregnancy tab. For non-serious pregnancy cases, also do not capture the causality statement in the case narrative. For serious cases, if you know the patient is not pregnant, include, the patient was not pregnant at the time of report, in the narrative after the patient's concurrent conditions. Important points to be considered for off-label use cases. If the case has off-label scenarios like drug use for an unapproved indication or product use at an unapproved age or drug use for an unapproved dosing regimen, then information for off-label usage could be added to the suspect drug information of the case narrative. For example, the patient received paracetamol, solution for infusion, intravenous, batch number, ABC 143, expiry, Feb. 2021, 10 mg per kilogram, 1 every 7 days, coded as drug use for an unapproved indication, off-label use, therapy dates not reported, for diarrhea. Reference. A previous half-decade of experience. Prepared by Mallikarjun Mocharla.